Hi guys, my name is Troy. Welcome back to my booktube channel. This is the second time I'm recording this intro because I did not click the button. And so I was talking for 3 minutes thinking I was recording and I wasn't. What's new, guys? But anyways, what's up, guys? I hope you all are having a great weekend. I'm just doing amazing and I can't wait to, jump into this video. So today I thought I would do a reading update because of the circumstances like in the US right now, and I'm sure in a lot of other countries. I've had a lot more time to read and I just wanted to kind of like show you guys what I've been reading and what I'm planning to read in the future as my spring TBR, which I've never done a spring TBR video or even watched a spring TBR video, so this is going to be fun. I'm just going to wing it, it's going to be a great video. Now we're going to get into my books that I've currently been reading and books that I've read this month. So like just what I've been reading this month, because I think I've kept you guys in the dark enough and I need to just get with it. So let's jump right into the video. Alright, so let's go over what I have read this month and what I've been currently reading. So let's jump straight into it with the first book that I read this month, which was The Leveler by Catherine Durango. And this is a sci-fi book. I just wanted to kind of launch into the month good with something like that I don't usually read. Like I wouldn't normally pick this up. I got this book from Book Outlet and it was like maybe like $1 to $2 or something like that. And that's why I got it, because it was cheap and I gotta snatch those deals. And so yeah, this is something like I would normally pick up. It was just because it was very cheap. I'm actually happy to say that I really enjoyed this book. It was just so kind of like complicated, even though it was like a simple plot line. It was just complicated in itself and it was just really creepy and cool. And so this book is about this girl named Nixie who goes into the Meep universe, which is like this virtual gaming world where, like a lot of people go, kind of like Ready Player One, like where everyone is going into this one like virtual world, like the whole world is going into this world. Nixie is sent in to get parents' kids out of the Meep universe. So like she's paid to go in and like level people and like make them return back to reality, I guess is how you could put it. But one day Nixie is actually approached by the billionaire game developer to get his son, because his son Win is actually lost in the universe, and so she's sent in to get him, and it's like just go through this like labyrinth, and like she thinking it's like a suicide note where like Win is like trying to like kill himself, or I don't even know. It's just so complicated. And then the suicide turns out to be Win is just trapped, and there's like this whole organization trapping them in there and like making crazy situation. I'm so bad at explaining books, but basically this was just such a good sci-fi novel, and hopefully when it comes to my March reading wrap-up I will be able to explain this better. But I just really enjoyed it. It was like such a refreshing sci-fi and it was such a quick read, and I feel like these books with just like these skinny like page counts, like I just love them because they're so short and sweet and like they don't give you all the fluff that something like my next book has. And so my next book that I want to talk about is We Hunt the Flame, which I started reading on my trip, and I'm like maybe like 150 pages in. I just got to like the second book, Act 2. So yeah, I'm like 160 pages into We Hunt the Flame. I don't know why I have all these sticky notes on my books, I'm sorry. But anyways, We Hunt the Flame is like a lot different. It's not short and sweet. It is filled with details and rich culture and geography and just total description. Like I will give it to you, Hafsa. I'm sorry, I do not know how to pronounce these names, but Hafsa Fazil. Okay, sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry. I can't do this. I can't. My brain is not working today. But anyways, I have to give it to this author for like just the amount of details and the amount of culture. Like, I've been so immersed in this world while I'm reading it, and it's just like so rich, if that's even a word, like to describe a book. Anyways, this book is about these two people. So it's about Zafira. Wait, no, it's not. No, yeah, it is. Zafira and Nazir. So Zafira is the hunter, where she disguises herself as a man because women in this world are not like treated properly, and she has to go out into the Rs, these like magical and like creepy woods that not many people return from, to hunt for her people. And then Nazir is the Prince of Death, who has to kill off his father, which is like the Sultan or like the king's enemies, and so he like just gets rid of his father's like people that are in his way. And somehow the two get sent off on a journey and they meet up together, and basically it's just this crazy story of how like there's this epic chase and there's this war brewing and there's this ancient curse. And so it's really fun to read, and it's just been again so rich, and I feel so immersed in the story. And so I'm just really loving We Hunt the Flame so far, and I'll totally have more thoughts on it by the end of the month. But this is a great story. All right, I think it's finally time to, just get this over with. Carry all these books in my hand. It's gonna be really heavy, but I gotta do it for the fam. Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Okay, so this is the Keeper of Lost City series. You guys are only seeing like the first 5 books, but there is 8 books in the series, and I wanted to restart it for middle grade March, and also because my channel, O.W.L.s Fanbase, which goes over this series, and I upload like 1 video a week about this series on that channel, and so that channel hit 2K, and so I was doing like reading 2,000 O.W.L.s pages in a week, and so I started this reread of this amazing middle grade series. I talked about in my middle grade recommendation video, which is up there, and it was just an amazing video. You guys should definitely watch it. It goes over 5 middle grade recommendations that I have for you for middle grade March. It's a little bit late for middle grade March, but you know what? Middle grade can be read at any time because middle grade is awesome. And so I've already read these first 2 books this month. The first book, Keeper of Lost Cities, and the second book, Keeper of Lost Cities Exile, and I'm reading the 3rd book, which is why I have the bookmark in it. And so now I'm left with these, which is going to be going into my TBR video, or my TBR section, so I'll put these off for now. But yeah, so I read these both this week. I finished this one day, and then I finished this in like 3 days. I don't know what happened, but anyways, these books are both like 500 pages. Keeper of Lost Cities is basically, this whole series is basically about this girl named Sophie Foster who's 12, and she finds out that she is an elf and that she has all these secret and hidden abilities, and so she goes to the elven world and she has to belong and just like fit in. And so Sophie finds out that not everyone is going to welcome her with open arms, and that she has some people that are like willing to kill her for her secrets and her mysterious past. And so Sophie through the series has to like find out who she truly is, just to like look around her for all these different clues on how different events happened in the past, and she has to like try to like join these rebellions and like trying to stop other rebellions, and like it's just so crazy and complicated, and it's just such a fun story, and it's like honestly just gets funner and funner as the story goes on, and it gets so much more creative, and I just love this series so much. And so the first few books are about her like fitting into the elven world and starting to like find out who she actually is and like her past, because you know she's forgotten a lot of her memories, and like she's trying to like dig through all of her memories and like dig through all the clues. And these 2 books are kind of like about herself and her past. And I know Everblaze is starting to get more into like the secret evil organizations and stuff, and trying to join the good organization. There's a good organization, an evil organization. They're joining like the good organization, and then the rest of the books kind of explore those organizations more and just injustice in their world, and it's just so cool. And so I'm reading the 3rd book right now. I've already read the first 2. I'm on page 50 of page 600, and I'm just loving the series so much, and I've been really blasting through it as well. Like I would not have normally like read 2 books in 1 week. And now my next book that I'm reading right now is actually an audiobook, and it's my first audiobook that I've ever listened to ever, and it's so cool. So let me kind of tell you guys, this is why I'm on my phone, because like this was an audiobook, it's not a real book. So I was on Twitter one day, this is kind of like the story. I was on Twitter one day, because I never really go on Twitter. I opened it and I started seeing all these tweets with Scribd, and so I was like, hey, let's check it out. And so I went onto their profile and I was like, they have this like 30-day free trial without like you having to put a credit card in. Like I hate having to do that, like getting my parents to put a credit card into all these like different like, you know, services. And so I was like, yes, we don't have to have a credit card commitment and stuff, because they were doing this whole thing because of like the quarantine thing, and like they're trying to like promote their brand, I guess. And I was like, yes, heck yes. And so I signed up for this 30-day free trial without putting a credit card in. It was great. I'm logged in, and it's amazing. And so I was looking at the audiobook selections. I saved a few, and I'll go over those in my TBR for the ones that I didn't pick. But right now I'm reading To Best the Boys by Mary Weber. Put it on the screen right here. Maybe I'll just scoot over a little bit. This book is really good so far, and just like the audiobook experience, because I've never listened to an audiobook before. It's been so weird, and I'm kind of trying to get used to it. I can't like remember every detail and stuff, and it's crazy. This whole thing, this whole new experience is crazy, audiobook experience, and I'll have a full video on like my audiobook thoughts. But the book is going really well, and I'm really intrigued by it. It's really like feministic book, if that's a word. I don't know. It's like feminine, equal women's rights. Yes. See, I don't know. I just can't talk. I literally can't talk. I'm so bad at talking. But basically, this book is about, there's like in this world, there's this like plague ravaging the population, kind of like Cinder. But anyways, this one girl named Ren is trying to solve a cure because her mother has it. And so she's like trying to solve a cure. She's like doing all these like sciencey things. But in this world, girls aren't allowed to do science, and like that's the boys' job. And so there's like this annual competition all the boys go to get a scholarship to like this college, this really fancy schmancy college, and I guess the book is about her trying to get into it or something, and like making a disguise and getting into it so she can get a scholarship, get an education, so she can save her mother. And so I'm really intrigued by this book. I don't know much too about it because it's an audiobook, and it's just been really slow, I think, because I don't normally read all those details, but in this book I have, and so I'm on like chapter 4 of 30, I'm pretty sure. It's been really good so far, and I'm really enjoying it. Definitely recommend, and I'll have more thoughts on this book and audiobooks in general when I make that video, which will probably go out next week or whatever when I finish the audiobook. But yeah, reading is going great so far. This has taken way too long. I thought recording was going to take me like maybe an hour, but it's probably gonna take me 2 hours. I don't know, I just stress. Okay, anyways, let's go into my next section, which is the TBR section, which is like, what do I want to read in the spring? Okay, so now I'm going to talk about all the books that I want to read this spring. This is quite an ambitious kind of list, but I just wanted to kind of tell you guys like kind of like where my mind is at right now with reading. In the spring I like to do a lot of rereading and also a lot of middle grade reading, so you'll see like a lot of books that I've already read before and a few books that I have not read yet, and a lot of my audiobooks are books that I haven't read yet. But first is the Keeper of Lost City series. Like I said, this is on my TBR because I'm reading through this series, and so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books in the series to read this spring, which is great. And you know, I already talked about the series, so yes, I just want to read this in spring. Pretty obvious. And then next, guys, I have something planned that's really fun that would kind of lighten my mood, but it's going to be a reading for 24 hours straight vlog where I'm just going to try to read as much as I can in 24 hours. And I have a TBR for that, which is a lot of mix of middle grade and kind of new books that I haven't read yet. So first, you know, we have Divergent, which I don't know if this is a middle grade, but I have read it in middle grade. It's a great like dystopian book, or at least the first one is. Like I said, if you haven't watched my dystopian video, check up there for some more dystopian recommendations. This was in it, but I like the first book, not the rest of the series. But yeah, it's a really good dystopian book. And I have Aragon because I'm going to start my Aragon reread this spring, and I want to talk to you about that as well, and that'll be next. And then I have the BFG, which is a middle grade, which I talk about in my middle grade recommendation videos because Roald Dahl's books are so amazing. And I have The Explorers, The Door in the Alley, which is also a middle grade book, and it's like a kind of like a urban adventure story where they're like adventuring through this city and finding clues and stuff, and I think unlocking a treasure. And then finally, I've got Renegades by Marissa Meyer, which seems to be like this kind of like superhero young adult novel, which I'm so excited about, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have probably read. And so yeah, I plan to do like a reading for 24 hours straight video where this is like 2,000 pages. I'll see how much I can read. Maybe I'll read like 3 out of the 5 books here. I just wanted to have like a kind of TBR for that video. I was just talking about the Aragon series by Christopher Paolini, and so I want to reread that again because this is like the only series that I'll get like actually nostalgic over. Like I will actually just like have this like kind of craving to read this series again, and so I wanted to read it again this spring. I've been putting it back so long, like I wanted to read it this winter, this holiday break, and then I just keep getting pushed back. And you know, I need to say no. I just need to start the Aragon reread as soon as I can. The book is about this dragon, like in this world where magic and like dragons and stuff are like outlawed, and so Aragon has to go on a quest to like revenge the death of his uncle on this new dragon, has to learn magic, and it's just such a really rich story, and I'm so immersed in it, and I just love it so much. And like this series just gets so good as it goes on, and it's just really truly like a really good series, one of my favorite series ever, and I just can't wait to read it again this spring. And on like the same boat of rereads, I also want to reread the Unwanteds series by Lisa McMahon. There's 7 books in this series, and this is like truly like the face of middle grade for me. I don't know, it just symbolizes reading middle grade for me because it's just so creative and so fun and so lighthearted. Like this series won't get you like crying or anything. Like it's just true like childhood. Like it's all about creativity and this like mansion where all these kids can go to do art, and then how like they're turning art into weapons and how like they're exploring 7 different islands. It's, like I get like a lot of nostalgia about this series as well because it's just so like adventurous and like, you know, childish, and I just love it so much. And then on that same boat, the spin-off series by the same author, it's kind of like a sequel series of like the next generation sort of, is Unwanted's Quest, and there's more books in this. I just only have the first 3. I might also want to reread these too, so like 10 books of the Unwanted series. I don't know, it's just such an amazing series, and again, I talked about it in my middle grade recommendation video. If you guys haven't watched that, guys, like you just got to. So I think this would be a great idea to reread in this like middle grade kind of time and like this springtime because it's just such a happy and lighthearted series. And so yeah, this video is literally making me sweat. Okay, I feel like I'm taking so long. So anyways, next up is the Hunger Games trilogy. I read this last last year at the same time, Hunger Games trilogy, for the magical readathon, which I guess I should talk to you guys about that too. So I'll be participating. There's so much on my mind right now. So I'll be participating in the magical readathon. I think that's what it's called. It's basically like a Harry Potter readathon, and it's hosted by a book roast. I'll give you guys like a link in the description, hopefully, if I remember. But basically, this readathon is there's different prompts for each classes, and it's like the O.W.L.s magical readathon. And so like we're pretending like we are Hogwarts students and that we have to take the O.W.L.s, and for each O.W.L., there's a prompt related to that subject. So like if it's like potions, like we might have to read a shrinking potion, or like a book that has like less than 200 pages. And so we have to like read different books for each prompt, and I haven't set a TBR for that, but I read this last year for the magical readathon, and I'll be doing a magical readathon again this year. It runs from April 1st to the end of April, so that should be really fun, and I'll tell you guys about that more in a future video. But yeah, Hunger Games, I really want to read this again. It's such a great series. It's a dystopian series that I talked about in my dystopian recommendation video, which I already talked about. So guys, you just need to start binging my videos on this channel, honestly, because you gotta be, you know, with me. You gotta be known all these things are. And so yeah, the Hunger Games series is basically just this dystopian series where every year 20 kids are sent to their, 24 kids, I believe, actually, are sent to their deaths, or almost to their deaths, and they have to compete for their lives, basically, by killing all the other people. It's a great series. Okay, so now these are like the books that I haven't really read, or just, okay, well, this book I've read. Redwall by Brian Jacques. I read this in 5th grade, I believe, with another friend in elementary school, and I read like a few books in this series, but I really want to get back to it. It's basically this really fun book series, and so like there's all these like conquests and like kingdoms and all these like treacheries and stuff, but in with mouses and ferrets and like weird animals like that. I don't know. I'm not good at explaining things. Y'all, my mind is literally going crazy right now. And then A Darker Shade of Magic, which is also, I have the audiobook saved on Scribd. So hopefully I'll be able to read and listen to the audiobook with this book. Darker Shade of Magic is basically about these 3 different Londons going on, and Kel has to go through each one being a messenger, and he gets caught up in this wild goose chase. And A Curse So Dark and Lonely, which is a Cinderella retelling. This is also a fairy tale retelling, and it's by Bridget Kemmerer. Okay, I'm just gonna say I want to read this. I don't want to have to explain it because I feel like I'm so rushed right now. Okay, anyways. So yeah, those are like all my physical TBR, and then I have a audiobook TBR. Okay, so I want to read The Vanishing Stair by Maureen Johnson, which is a sequel to Truly Devious. I want to read Arch Enemies by Marissa Meyer, which is a sequel to Renegades. I want to read Scarlet from the Lunar Chronicles, which is a sequel to Cinder. These are all audiobooks. I want to read Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I want to read Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. I want to read the Lord of the Rings series. I think that's on this audiobook service. I want to read The City of Brass and The Hobbit, also on audiobook. So those are like my audiobook TBR for right now. I also see a lot of other ones I'm literally just saving right now because I want to read all these. Oh, they have all these. They have so many good ones. That is my TBR. I just have so many books to read. I hope this wasn't like too long of a video. I just have so many books that I want to read. So many books that I've been reading. Just with this time, I have so much more time to read, and I'm just, you know, having the best time reading, and I can't wait to read even more. So yeah, so I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little reading update of like what I've been reading and what I plan to read in the future. I have another video coming out soon, which will be my March wrap up, where I'll wrap up all the books that I've read in March, and then we can just, you know, head on to more of the spring months. I'm so excited. Reading has been so much more fun to me these days with middle grade March. I just think, you know, everything with all like that's going on, middle grade March is perfect because we can just read some of these light books and they're just all really funny and sweet. And I mean, I love that, guys, because with what's going on, we have a lot more time to read, but it's just a really scary time, and so gotta have those middle grade books. But I mean, I've also been able to read a lot more, and with this thing, also Scribd had done their like audiobook thing, and I'm just so excited about all this happening with reading going on, and I just can't wait to continue reading and, you know, have fun with it. So if you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like. How many likes can this video get? Can we get it to 40 likes? A lot of my videos have not gotten there yet. Let's just like, what's the harm in not leaving a like, guys? Because then, you know, you're showing YouTube that you like my videos, and then maybe they can promote it to other people. Like, what's cooler than that? Subscribe to my channel so we can get to 700 subscribers. Comment down below, what have you read this month, or what do you plan on reading, or both? Just give me your guys' reading update. Like, have you been able to read more during this like quarantine social distancing time, or have you been able to read less, or like what's going on in your life? I would love to, you know and respond to you guys, and respond to most of you guys. If you you guys are looking for a fun video that you want to watch, click up here for my bookish struggles video. It was such a fun video where I got to like explain some of like the universal book struggles, or like at least the struggles that I have, like the never-ending TBR, the book quality obsessioner. Like, it's just really fun, so I hope you guys check that out. But I think that's all from me, guys. Have an amazing rest of your day, have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you on Wednesday for my next video. Stay safe and stay healthy, and I'll see you then. Bye, guys.